Namaskar aspirants, this video is the continuation of our MCQ series on motor design and its component. Let us start. Mist detector used on large low-speed main propulsion diesel engines monitor and check for the presence of, and the options are fuel oil vapor at the sludge tank vent, unburned fuel vapors in the scavenge air receiver, lube oil vapors in the crankcase, lube oil vapors in the engine room, and the correct option should be lube oil vapors in the crankcase. Let's see the function of oil mist detector. The detector constantly monitors the oil mist concentration in the crankcase, indicates the mist level, and if the concentration is raised beyond a set point by the overheating of the bearing or any other cause, issues an alarm. Oil mist ignite at low temperatures and can cause severe damage such as engine room fires. The oil mist detector acts as a safety alarm, thus helping the crew avoid fires and thereby protecting lives, the environment and assets. Our next question is, a main propulsion diesel engine crankshaft bearing lacks sufficient crush, will, and the options are pound under load, be lubricated more easily than with sufficient crush, tend to rotate with the journal, have its back forced against the seat under load, and the correct option should be tend to rotate with the journal. Let's see what is the purpose of bearing crush. The bearing crush, it is sometimes called as nip, is the gap between the halves of the bearing housing after the bearing has been inserted and the housing properly tightened. The gap is there to ensure the outer surface of the bearing does not slip against the housing, since this would cause undesired wear and tear to the bearing. Our next question is, a unit type fuel injector is used on a diesel engine too, and the options are meter the fuel, produce the proper fuel oil pressure, atomize the fuel, all of the above. And the correct option should be all of the above. All the above three options are correct. Our next question is, the intake valves in a diesel engine are reseated by, and the options are cam followers, push rods, combustion gases, valve springs, and the correct option should be valve spring. There is a valve spring installed in the intake valves which reseat it after opening. These are the parts of the intake valve. Here you can see this is the intake valve stem and the valve seat over here, and there are two springs. One is the inner spring and outer spring, both are arranged parallelly, and there is a retainer which prevents the spring from dislocating, and a collet is also there. Our next question is, the closing of the exhaust valves used on a modern large low-speed main propulsion diesel engine may be directly provided by, and the options are large conical springs, compressed air pressure, hydraulic pressure, exhaust gas pressure, and the correct option should be compressed air pressure. Our next question is, a characteristics of a bearing material which permits small dirt particles to become embedded in its surface is, and the options are desirable as it will prevent damage to the journal bearing, desirable as it will assist in keeping the lube oil filters clean, undesirable since the embedded particles will score the journal, undesirable since the particles will interfere with lube oil flow, and the correct option should be desirable as it will prevent damage to the journal surface. Our next question is, a diesel engine crankcase ventilation system, and the options are prevents spark generation, removes combustible gases, determines the level of combustible gases, provides inert gas generation in crankcase, and the correct option should be remove combustible gases. By removing the combustible gases, it prevents a fire inside the crankcase fire. Most fuel injection nozzles are opened by, and the options are fuel oil pressure, a cam operated follower, a spring-loaded pressure plate, timing gear keyed to the crankshaft, and the correct option should be fuel oil pressure. The bearing used to support the crankshaft are generally called, and the options are line shaft bearing, connecting rod bearing, main bearings, support bearings, and the correct option should be main bearing. Our next question is, injection pressure in a common rail fuel system is controlled by, and the options are engine speed, varying the fuel pump piston stroke, varying the injector needle valve clearance, a bypass valve, and the correct option should be a bypass valve. By setting the pressure of the bypass valve, injection pressure is controlled in a common rail fuel system. That's all for today. See you soon.